Good evening, you guys. What's up? We're back. It's time for the second part of the tutorial. The last tutorial showed you guys how to do random spawning with teleporters. Now we're going to go into how to do static, stationary spawning with player reference devices. And this works well if you have a pregame where there's a timer and a mutator zone. This particular tutorial will show you how to assign players to a teleporter specifically based upon where they spawn, meaning if they spawn on a particular spawn pad, they're registered, and whatever is connected to this player reference device, when it activates, will teleport them to a specific static, stationary destination. Let me show you guys what I mean here. So we have, for example, Team 1, whoever picks Team 1 will always spawn here. Whoever picks Team 2 will always spawn here. Whoever picks Team 3 will always spawn here. And whoever picks Team 4 will always spawn here. In addition to that, if they are eliminated in the game area, which this represents, they're going to be teleported or basically respawn back into the game area instead of respawning into the pregame. I hope you guys are able to use this system for your games coming up, and I hope it's beneficial to you. I'm going to run a quick test. Again, we're just going to be doing this with one player. I won't be able to do it with two players, but the system has been tested with two players to assure its accuracy. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at what it looks like, and then I'll show you guys the settings. All right, so I'm going to start off on Team 1 because I'm the only player in the game. And you see I am registered. I have 4 seconds. Let's do this team here. So I'm Team 3 now, and I am teleported to Team 3. But something happens, I suck, and I die, right? So I'm going to respawn back in the game area. And that's how it works. Really cool, right? Now, I'm going to do another test and show you guys what it looks like if I pick a different team. So let's do that. Alrighty, let's pick a different team. Alright. Time was running out. Team 2, all right, and I spawn here. Really cool. But, oh no, I died. I am eliminated. And I respawn back in the game so I can continue to try to fight for my worth. All right, so that's how that works, you guys. Let's go ahead and go into what you need to set this up, and we can take a look at the settings. Okay, you're going to need player spawner paths, player reference device, a channel device. You're going to need class selectors, and if you're going to be configuring your classes, then you're going to need your class designers. You're going to need a timer for your pregame, and you're going to need a mutator zone to send events when that timer goes off. Next, you're going to need player checkpoint pads and teleporters. You can have multiple player checkpoint pads if you choose to do so. So keep that in mind. And the damage volume is only there for tutorial purposes. However, if you are building something similar to this, let's say it's like a pillars game or something like that, then you want to add that down there as well. All right, that's all the devices you need. Let's jump into the settings, or at least a structure of how this is working, and then we'll get into the settings. All right, so this is how this is working. When a player spawns into the game, they are connected or registered to a player reference device. They have a certain amount of time to select a team before the mutator zone is enabled. So make sure you give them enough time. This is 9 seconds only because it's a tutorial, but you might want to give them 20 seconds, 30 seconds, depending on how you think your players, how much time you think your players need. All right, and then you're going to need your class selectors. So they need to select their teams. Each class selector is designated to a team in a class, if that's what you're doing. And when they run into that, they select a team and they're switched. Once that happens and the timer runs out, the mutator zone is enabled and it activates the player reference device. The channel device is there to teleport upon activating. When the players are teleported, it registers them to a checkpoint pad. And when they are eliminated, they respawn on the checkpoint pad. Each teleporter is designated to a team. So this is team 2, this is designated to team 3, and this is designated to team 1. And when that mutator zone is enabled, it activates and sends that signal to all the teleporters. Whoever is on a particular team will spawn on that designated teleporter. All right, so now that you have the idea of the structure, let's get into the settings, okay? All right, so depending on your game setup, you want to ensure your structure is fit for this particular game. It's important to have team size set to dynamic. Set your number of teams in the game. I have it set to 5, even though I have 4, just in case. And then a max player of 10. Make sure you set your max players. If you're going to have a designated default class, make sure you set that there. I don't have one for this tutorial, so it's not necessary. All right. And then for the spawning events, when a player spawns in, this is what it looks like. And you see when the player is spawned, we're going to automatically register them to the designated player reference device, which is this. So if you have 30 players, then you're going to need 30 player references device for each player spawner pad. Okay, so keep that in mind. Let's take a look at this. And you see it's going to activate when the mutator zone is enabled and when player enters the zone. When it is activated, we're going to go ahead and send a signal to the channel teleporter to transmit, and that is right behind us right there. And we'll take a look at that here in a bit. All right, let's look at this spawn pad, and you'll see it's quite the same. The only difference is there's no designated team, and you guys should recognize I do this a lot in my tutorials. I have a control, meaning that the first player who spawns into the game is always on team 1, but everyone else can be on team any. And so forth. And again, registering them to their designated player reference device. All right, and that's this one right here. And again, activate it when the mutator zone enables and on player entering zone. And on activated, we're going to send an event to that channel teleporter to transmit a signal. All right, let's check out that channel teleporter. It's right here. It's right behind everything so you guys can see how it's connecting. Here's a streamline right here. And this is what I have for the settings. So you can see it's already binded. And then when it receives that transmission, it's going to teleport. And you see I have it connected to all teleporters. Teleporter 1 for team 1, teleporter 2 for team 2, teleporter 3 for team 3, and teleporter 4 for team 4. All right, cool. Now we have our spawning events taken care of. Let's check out the team selection events. So we'll start with team 1, class selector. Everything else from here on is up to you, personal preference. Just ensure that when they do enter this particular selector, they are switched to team 1. And if you're using classes, this is where you put that right there. All right, and then this is for team 3. And as you see, everything else here is default. All right, cool. And then this is team 2 with all other settings default. All right, and this is team 4. Again, all other settings are default. Now, if you're not using classes, as stated before, you don't have to set it to a class. But if you are, make sure you include a class designer for each team, a class that you're going to be having. So like you see, this is for team 2, but there's no class. I'll set that to class 2 for team 2. So when they switch to this team, they'll be on class 2, team 2, and have the configurations of that class through this designer. Okay, but this is all default. So this is just here, just in case that's something you want to do, and I can show you how that correlates with one another. Next is the timer. All right, and then these are the functions, and there are no functions. And then for events on success, we're going to enable that mutator zone. All right, cool. Next, we have the mutator zone. Here we are. And if you want to set up particular controls, like you don't want them to edit, you're going to put no here. And let's see, if you don't want them to jump, you're going to put no here, and so forth, right? If you don't want them to build, that should be coming up. Make sure you put no there, no weapon fire, and so forth, right? And set those configurations. Keep in mind those configurations won't turn on until the box is enabled. So if you're in a situation where this is used for teleporting, then you might need two mutator zones, one to disable building, disable shooting, and that's active when the game starts. So make sure it's enabled on game start in all game phases. And then this one only to enable when the timer goes off. So you'll need two. All right, just to let you guys know. All right, cool. Let's take a look at functions. And on player entering zone, all of your player reference devices will need to be placed here. So if you have 30 of them, I recommend you just use a channel device. Connect all 30 of those player reference devices to one channel device. It'll be much easier to just do that, and then here you'll put the channel device, and it would save you a lot of time than putting in each player reference device. Go ahead and add it to an array in a channel device. All right, now we have the pregame all done. Let's check out the game area. All right, so let's see here. Starting with teleporter team 1. All right, let's check it out. And let's change this to never. That shouldn't be there. That is a carryover from the previous tutorial, right? And team, let's just kind of go in order, I guess. Team 2. The most important thing is to ensure you have your selected team designated to the teleporter you want it to. And then again, this is carried over from the other tutorial, so let's fix that. And when teleported, we're going to register them to the checkpoint pad. And then this should be binded here for functions, just showing you again, teleport when receiving from the channel device. And not sure if I did that. I'll just briefly show you guys here as well. It's practically the same. And then when registered, the checkpoint device. So if you want to do a checkpoint device for each teleporter, and let's say you want them to respawn somewhere else, right? You can do that. Like you can just have, just take a checkpoint pad and designate it to team 1, right? And then have one to team 2, and they'll respawn on those paths. Just make sure you connect it on teleported. Right? Cool. All right, we did 2. Let's go to 3. And last, number 4. And it's quite the same. All right. And this should already be binded and then teleported. We're going to register them to a checkpoint pad. And let's check out the checkpoint pads. Let's do this one first. And you can see one teleporter is registered there. And then for this one, and I have 3 teleporters registered here. So when they teleport, they're going to register to this one. And you can divide that up however which way you like. And then lastly, we have the damage volume. If you're using this, I'll show you the settings. So this is like a really great starter up mode for a Pillars game. If you don't want them to respawn, or maybe you do, let's say you want them to respawn in like an area where they wait to see everybody else, you know, get eliminated or whatnot, you can do that. Or you can eliminate the checkpoint pad completely, just don't have them register, and when they're eliminated, just go to spectate mode, right? That's pretty cool. And then the game can start over in the pre-game on the next round, and you can start the whole process over again. Again, this can work for box fights. This can work for any type of game you have in mind. Maybe you're thinking about doing like Zone Wars or something. That could be a possible implementation of this particular setup. I'm going to leave that, guys, up to you, all right? And I can't wait to see what you can make with this particular setup. It's very easy to do and really versatile. Let's go ahead and do one last play test to see what we just built. Awesome. Awesome. All right, that's basically it. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope it's been beneficial for you. And if it has, please share it. It definitely helps. In addition to that, if you do have more questions, feel free to post them in the Discord. The link will be posted below, and I really appreciate it. Your questions help everyone be better in their creative journey. So let's go ahead and do that and share the wealth of knowledge. All right, that's gonna do it for this video. I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good one. Bye.